Mr. Mukesh Bhutani, Managing Partner, BMR Illegal. Mr. Bhutani, thanks so much for joining us here in the studios. As you just heard from Hardik and also heard from Disha coming in from Mumbai, before we go over to Idris, I wanted to understand from you, he mentioned that the economic survey has already come out. And as I was discussing with you earlier before we came on it, if you can give us a bird's eye view of how far the actual budget is going to be from the survey and what you predict.
Well, the most important highlight is you're moving from a trajectory of 6.5% to 7%. And in order to make sure that we are able to deal with the shocks, there is a range of 6.8 to 7.2. I think that's the big picture. And to move in this environment over a period of 1 year on 0.5% of 50 basis points on growth is phenomenal. There is no doubt that the global uncertainties are not going to go away. Supply chain shocks will continue. The other heartening fact is what the IMF and the World Bank said yesterday. Both of them are predicting 7.3 to 7.4%. So, one, the expectations are at an all-time high as to where we will grow, which means that the budget should address two critical aspects. Number one, the fiscal deficit. So, I think largely the roadmap that she charted out post-COVID recovery of 4% fiscal deficit, she's pretty much on path, which means the focus is going to be on the government revenues, both tax and non-tax. On the non-tax revenue side, I think it's fairly established that for the last 3 years, dividends from public sector undertakings, RBI, a bit of divestment is really yielding, but the tax revenues are very critical for her. Now, there is a mixed picture on what the tax revenue trends are suggesting because the economic survey had very little data. But I think that we still need to see the impact of GST cut rates. When the GST rates were cut last year, it was widely anticipated that there would be a dip in the GST revenues, but the volumes will pick up, and as a result of the economies of scale, over a medium-term period, GST collections will go up. But you really need 3 quarters to be able to see the impact of GST cut rates, which means that you are now left with a very important hole, which is a direct tax collection. I think that is showing a mixed result. I'm hoping that in the budget statements laid before the parliament, the revenue side of the budget will throw up a clear trend. The only thing that the economic survey has mentioned is that tax collections are at 53% of target up to November. But bear in mind, the economic survey did not factor the advanced tax collections of December. So the economic survey is not throwing enough light on the tax revenue, and hence we will have to wait and see today what the budget figures throws up.
Perfect. Mr. Bhutani, there is a lot of debate over fiscal federalism. There's a lot of debate over, how it eventually gets divided, the total earnings from the pool, how they get divided among all the states. And, how do you feel this budget, do you think it's going to only exacerbate that entire debate, or is there some kind of respite to the southern states that have been mentioning some kind of, discrepancies in the way it's coming their way?
See, I think budget does not give you an answer on really the fiscal deficit of the state, though the economic survey has thrown some figures. Look, at the end of the day, there is a formula that has been laid down by the 5-year Finance Commission on what we call devolution of revenues between the state and the center. And it's consistent across all the states. Then it depends on the state's bargaining power as to how much they are able to negotiate. There are some states who are pursuing high degree of industrialization. There are states that are pursuing very heavy programs on health, on land reforms. So it eventually depends on what kind of bargaining is there between the state and the center.
Understood. Mr. Bhutani, I'll come back to you. Let me now cut across to our correspondent, Idris Loan, who's there with us from Srinagar. We've got a bird's eye view from Mr. Bhutani right here in the studios. Let's understand more regionally from the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Idris, over to you. Reactions you've picked up, expectations you're hearing.
Well, Shivan, the expectations and demands remain the same as of the citizens from across the country in Jammu and Kashmir as well. But there have been 3 demands, especially from 3 different industries from Jammu and Kashmir to the central government. The first being the tourism industry, which has been massively hit after the Pahalgam terror attack. We've seen that tourism has reached 0% after the April attack, and in the last few months it has started picking up, but they've had a massive hit. The tourism stakeholders in Jammu and Kashmir have demanded and are expecting that there would be a special package for the tourism industry of Jammu and Kashmir. The second most important point is the horticulture industry of Kashmir Valley. If you remember, around October, which is the harvest season of the apples in Jammu and Kashmir, that is the time when the national highway was closed for over 2 weeks, and the apples that were to be sent across the country obviously rotted on the national highway because the trucks were not able to cross over to different parts of the country, and they also had to go through the major losses. Horticulture industry also expecting that there would be something special given by the central government to them as well. The third important industry is the railways, which has been connected from Srinagar to Katra to the rest of the country. But now the people from northern part of Kashmir have also demanded that there should be rail network connectivity towards the northern part of Kashmir as well. So these are the three main industries that have made special demands to the central government, especially the tourism industry, and the Jammu and Kashmir government also expecting that the special PM package that is given to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir would be retained as well. Overall, if we talk about the general public, Shivan, the taxes remain their priority, especially the employed class and the business class has also demanded that there should be some rebate in GST as well.
Idris, thanks so much for getting us those updates. And as I can see, it's freezing around you. So go get yourself in a warm place. I'll come back to you a little later. For now, I'll come back to the studio. Mr. Bhutani is here with us right here in the WION studios. Sir, you heard from our correspondents joining us from Srinagar, from Mumbai, right here from Delhi as well. What Disha had mentioned, she was speaking to somebody over there who mentioned that, they're looking at deductions from the new tax regime. Do you foresee any kind of more enhancements in the new tax regime which kind of propel people to kind of shift away, whoever's left in the old tax regime become more? Do you think any such effort will be made by the government?
Well, let's first understand the new Income Tax Act. The new Income Tax has been passed by the Parliament. The right to change the tax rates is a finance bill, annual budget exercise. Whether that will change or not is something that needs to be seen. I would be personally surprised if there is any change, because last year there was substantial rejigging of the rates to benefit the common man. Then subsequently in the year you also saw the GST cut rates. What the finance minister would have in her mind is the magical fiscal deficit target. And depending on the buoyancy in tax collection, that decision would be taken. But personally, I'll be surprised if there is any rejig in the tax rate. Sorry to disappoint you.
But that's something that people are always looking out for. What is this going to mean for the regular person? So if I very quickly try to understand from you, for a regular person, do you foresee any kind of, when I say regular, I mean anybody who's from the salaried class? What should they be looking forward to? Any keywords that you should be listening to that's going to impact them immediately?
Well, there could be some minor rejigging, but I don't expect anything substantial because your inflation is under control. The common man gets the benefit on the GST cut rate. Most forms of consumer durables, whether they are for human consumption or they are white goods, you're seeing the GST rates drop down, which means that you have more income at the disposal because of the tax rates rejig. And then you have the consumption, which happened subsequently in the year. So all of these moves, in my view, have been carefully calibrated, and hence this year, she will possibly pause on the rate cuts.
All right. So we'll wait and watch. It's I think an hour and a half from now, we'll get to know soon enough what's in store, what's in the Bahikata. But as of now, let's slip into a very short break. A very, thank you to all our correspondents joining us from Mumbai, Delhi and Srinagar, and also Mr. Bhutani, who will be here with us in the studio a little while from now again. For now, slipping to a short break. Stay with us. This is WION's coverage of the Union Budget 2023.